Let's put this on Do Not Disturb. Not that anybody does call or text me, but when they do, it's always in the middle of something. Hey guys, it's Wahima, but just call me Wah. Melanated! Hey guys, welcome to Morning Tea, where we sit in our sleepwear and discuss current events. Today's tea is Black Jasmine Creme by the Mountain Witch Tea Company with a little bit of milk. Let's jump right into things I can talk about fast. Beyonce slayed last night at the Grammys. I didn't watch it, but I saw like all the stuff on Twitter, and she looked amazing. She looked beautiful. I believe this pregnancy this time. I'm more of a Beyonce fan now than I have ever been. And I love how Adele handled this situation. Of course, she accepted that award, girl. I mean, Adele's not the only person who worked on that album, so she can't like say, I don't deserve this award. I'm sure they worked really hard on it. I personally have the album, and I can't get past the second song. I am an Adele fangirl. I am an Adele fan, and I can't get past the second song. I just don't care. But she wanted, the people who are part of the Grammy, like, you know, voting, whatever, felt that that album was more powerful than Lemonade, and perhaps they don't understand, like, what Lemonade is about, and how different it is, and how revolutionary it is, and how beautiful it is, and how great it is, you know, whatever. But I love the way Adele handled that, talking about how Lemonade for her was the album of the year, and paid homage to Beyonce, and even talked about how, you know, listening to No 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 when she was 11 years old changed her, and she had the same feeling when she heard No 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 as when she heard Lemonade, you know, years later. And I just think, you know, bravo to Adele for winning. Congratulations. And, you know, Solange, the Knowles family didn't walk away without anything. You know, Beyonce won. Beyonce walked away with 2 Grammys, and Solange won a Grammy. So, you know, the Knowles family, they got their Grammys this year. I just wonder, and the same thing with Adele, is like, what does Beyonce have to do? I mean, she has turned herself from this sort of, you know, freakum dress songwriter into what she has now for Lemonade, and I think it's great. I'm happy for her evolution, and it's made me jump on the Beyonce bandwagon, because, you know, I've never been one. I like my artists to show me who they are right away. I want to see the soul. I want to see the power. I want to see who they are right away, and I couldn't see that from Beyonce. Next thing is that Nordstrom did not buy the new line of the Ivanka Trump brand, and it's saying because it wasn't really selling. Personally, I was in fashion for a very long time in New York City, and I didn't know that Ivanka Trump had anything. I didn't know Melania Trump had anything. So there's 2 stories dealing with Trump brands, and you know, the Trump brand has always been like buy everything, sell everything, dump it, and move on. You know, that's kind of their business model. Ivanka has her line of shoes and I think clothing. Melania had like a skincare line and like some like jewelry or whatever that was selling on QVC. And, you know, just to make as much money with the name, doing what you can as fast as possible, which, like, as a private citizen, I have no problem with. When these companies buy, let's say a company buys, you know, Trump ties, they buy them and then they sell them to make their money back from the purchase of buying it from Trump. So Trump has already made his money on it. It's just like namesake and bravado that is hurt. The fact that Nordstrom's is going to buy it again is an issue, but the stuff that's already in the store that they're hiding or they're like not really promoting or whatever, it's already bought, you know. So I think, what is it? Marshalls, TJ Maxx, Sears, Belk, they're no longer going to be buying or carrying the Ivanka Trump line. They're just going to like let it peter out and do what it does and like sell it to a consignment, sell it to a third party, and you can still buy it online somewhere if you really want it, girl. Live your life. Last year, before Donald won the presidency, Melania was her lawyers, which is the Trump lawyers, right? It's not Melania. She's like, they just probably found an opportunity to sue somebody, and so they took it. They sued the Daily Mail because the Daily Mail or Daily Beast, I think it's the Daily Mail, it's a British publication. They said that Melania Trump was an escort at some point, and so now her brand or her lawyers are suing them because they're saying that they are costing, that article cost Melania $150 million in lost revenue because Melania is a part of a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. You know, you've destroyed her name, and now that her value as a brand is going up. And that causes problems because actually Donald did win the presidency, and so now for her lawyers or her to be suing for this is an ethics problem, because as the president you're no longer a private citizen, right? They can't use their name in order to promote business because it's unethical, right? It's a conflict of interest. Speaking of ethics, Kellyanne Conway is under investigation because right after Nordstrom decided that they weren't going to carry Ivanka Trump, she was on some some news cycles saying, yeah, go on ahead and buy Ivanka Trump. It's a great brand, blah, blah, blah. But as someone who's so close to the White House, she's not allowed to endorse anything, no matter what. Kellyanne Conway is like basking in the glow of her victory. You know, she's probably like thinks she can do and say anything. And forgot that she really can't at this point. Oh, one more thing is there was a press conference today with President Trudeau, who is the Prime Minister, I said President, Prime Minister of Canada, and with Donald Trump. Apparently they had long talks today about national security and trade agreements between the two countries. And it was just so glaringly obvious how terrible Donald Trump is at answering questions on the fly, and he just did his normal rhetoric.
The people who are a part of it are very, very good. We have tremendous support. People love it. We're going to come out with a new idea very, very soon, and you're going to think it's great.
Meanwhile, Trudeau is a little bit more of a politician and answers the question without actually answering the question. You know what I'm saying? And he did it in French, so it was like you had this buffoon who couldn't even who would just, not even answer the question and start talking about how things are tremendous and things are great and how he did well on the campaign trail. And somehow he brought in how he won the election because of the Electoral College by a landslide. I mean, how do you even throw that in? Nobody asked you about your campaigning, sir. But he managed to throw that in. And Trudeau just ended up looking more stately and, definitely far younger. I was like, is Trudeau 25? Like, how old is this cat? And anyway, so just Trudeau ended up making him look silly, I think. But I'm also biased, right? North Korea is acting a bloody fool again. So North Korea, for whatever reason, they're testing missiles. Like, why? And it's an issue, but a non-issue at the same time. So it was just a test missile and only went 310 miles, away from North Korea, but it landed in the Japanese Sea. And no one is really, people are saying it's a situation, but it's not really. The main reason why they didn't shoot it down is because they wanted to get information about it. They but it's almost like it's good practice to see what North Korea is up to and let them do what they want, as long as they're not hurting anyone or an ally of the United States. And if it comes to that, they will step in. But right now, it's just kind of well, let's see what they do. Let's see what their range is. Let's test their missiles. What the hell is up? And see what the Koreans are packing. The North Koreans are packing. Okay, so people are upset about George Lopez. Personally, as a black woman, I don't care. Mexican-black relations in California is strained. They've always been strained. My relationship with my Mexican friends, my Chicano friends, it's always been stellar. A lot of times when we talk about race relations and racism in the United States, it's always black and white. It's never about the other cultures that experience racism too. You want to pretend like you don't experience racism, or that your racism from white people is different than black people's racism from white people. The Mexican population, the Chicano population of California goes through a lot of the same police brutality, police killings, discrimination. They go through so much the same as black people, yet there's a separation, and I don't get that separation, but I'm like, boo-boo, you live in your bubble if you want to. All I can say is that I have a lot of Mexican friends, Chicano friends, and I love them, and we get along famously, and I love the culture here. I love their culture. I love Mexican food. I am in support of Mexico and Mexicans. They're my neighbors, and I'm going to respect and love them regardless of how they feel. He kicked out a black woman who started to get up and yell and boo him during his comedy set because he said that there were only 2 rules in his family, and don't do this and don't marry a black person. And I'm like, if that is a rule in his family, that's a rule. Black people always act like they don't have racist shit in their family. I think it's so weird when black people get upset at other minorities for being racist, when black people are just as racist to other minorities. It's crazy to me. Let him tell his joke. You went to a George Lopez show. Obviously you like George Lopez. Let him tell his joke. Tell him his joke. Don't come to somebody's show being disrespectful. And if they kick you out, they kick you out. That's personally how I feel. But so Betsy DeVos ended up being Secretary of Education because of Mike Pence. So there was a deadlock. The Senate couldn't decide. It was a tie. And the first time I think it's happened in a very long time where the vice president actually has to step in and make a judgment call because the Senate can't come to an agreement. And he voted for Betsy DeVos, obviously. And so now she is the Secretary of Education for some reason. So let's see how that works out. All right, guys, that's it for Morning Tea. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please leave them down below, and you have a fantastic day. Bye.